Hello, this is Fear Dragon, and welcome to Breaking Out, the show about North American StarCraft 2 players. Here on this show, we spend 1 week highlighting an up-and-coming North American player. Throughout the week, we find out more about the player's history, their personality, and their playstyle over the course of 6 short episodes. On Monday, we'll interview the player and find out more about them. Tuesday through Thursday, we'll watch a game from each of the various matchups casted by your very own Fear Dragon. On Friday, we'll check out a generally awesome game with some sick play, and on Saturday, we'll kick it back with the player and have some wacky fun with some randomly selected events like handicap ladder matches, karaoke, and dance contests. Each episode aims to be about 20 to 30 minutes long, so you can learn more about the North American StarCraft 2 scene without interrupting your busy WCS schedule. Thanks so much for watching, and I hope you enjoy the show. Hello, this is Fear Dragon coming at you with another episode of Breaking Out, the show about North American StarCraft 2 players that you need to know about. And today on the show, we have my brilliant, lovely co-caster from Team Chair Couch. How you doing today, Boisterous?
I'm feeling quite perfect. So, you know, there's
quite perfect. It's pretty reasonable for you to feel perfect when you are perfect.
Yeah, I know. It's okay, Fear Dragon. You don't need to beat around the bush a little with that.
Oh man, but you know who else is very, very close to perfection? It is going to be the highlight player of the week. And we're going to go ahead and jump in and introduce him officially as we spawn down here in the bottom right-hand corner of Newkirk Precinct in this Terran versus Protoss matchup. It is going to be the player representing Core Gaming, the highlight player of the week, Core Gaming Sonic.
And down in the bottom left-hand corner, we have his opponent, who you do not need to care nearly as much about, because he's basically just a Protoss dummy. It is going to be Fighto from ETND.
Eternal Dreamers, I believe.
Oh. Okay. Well, you know, that's an interesting name.
Yeah, you know what else is interesting? This SCV. Because there's a supply depot down, and he's already gone for a scout, and oh my god. Oh, Fighto. Fighto tried to scout with the probe to the corner of his base. He didn't see the barracks.
That is literally paper thin. The barracks is literally placed on that line, and I think it'll be able to actually go unscouted.
The probe is scouting for proxy Raxus!
Wow.
Oh my god.
Sonic, this is a new metagame location right here. That's crazy.
Oh my god. Sonic is an aggressive player. He's talked about how, in his interview, he likes to be aggressive, but he has trouble doing it against Protoss players when they have that photon overcharge available. It's hard to be aggressive, but you can still do it. Especially if you just do it before the cybernetics core's thrown down.
Yeah, he's definitely realized the timing where you get in before there's any freaking chance that they're going to actually have a photon overcharge ready. I mean, like, there's basically no friggin' chance that there's going to be any amount of a mothership core ready before this Reaper hits the base. And we are actually going to see this Reaper popping out in about 20 seconds. And honestly, at this point, Fighto really does not have any idea what's going on. Well, Sonic did actually...
No, I mean, he sees that the barracks is super delayed, and he sees, like, okay, normally you'd think maybe it's command center first or something, if you're not being super diligent counting SCVs, but you see that there's a gas geyser down, and there's a barracks super delayed, you gotta be thinking something's going on. Reaper pops in, the Zealot walks right past him, oh no, he wasn't paying attention, he's gonna end up losing some very valuable probes.
Yeah, at least mining time here, and actually some nice micro from Fighto, but Sonic just being ballsy with the control of this Reaper. He will be able to snipe off one, but there is going to be that mothership core popping out, and it looks like that will force this Reaper back, and there is going to be a second Reaper out, but 2 Reapers still not that great when it comes to fighting off a mothership core.
Yeah, Mothership Core definitely not going to be one of the prime targets. Maybe going after that Zealot, but no, the Stalker is going to be popping out. Yeah. It's going to be so difficult to do a whole lot of damage. Sonic actually does, get a Reaper all the way into the main base. Just going to be scouting out that second gas geyser, seeing exactly what's going on, because honestly, this Reaper harassment has already done a ton of damage. Look at the money from Fighto. He has so much gas. He hasn't started Warp Gate technology. He hasn't thrown down a Nexus, even though he very clearly has the minerals for it. I mean, he has just been delayed by this move from Sonic.
Yeah, and it's going to be interesting to see how long it takes him to realize that his Warp Gate tech still has not started, because, I mean, he's 15 seconds past the attack, and there it finally starts, but that is extremely delayed, at least by a minute and a half.
Yeah, I don't know if he was just delaying it because those 50 minerals would mean, slightly sooner in Nexus, but actually Sonic's Reaper is coming in over here, scouts out the Nexus. And at the end of all that, we have almost even worker counts, but I have to hand it to Sonic right now because he has the advantage of those mules, and his command center is going to be a little bit further delayed, but honestly, I think that he's going to be feeling okay about this.
Yeah, that was definitely a ballsy attack. I would have preferred to actually see Marines in place of that Reaper, at least personally, just because as soon as a Mothership Core actually pops out, the Reapers are done. There's going to be no possible damage coming out from those Reapers, whereas if you can manage to get Marines, you can still stutter step and actually snipe off that Mothership Core pretty easily, and they're a lot more diligent about the amount of damage they can do than Stalkers. I mean, Reapers are good if you're sending them across map, but if you do have that proxy positioning, even slow Marines can do a lot of damage.
Yeah, it's certainly something worth considering, but in the meanwhile, we do have just Stalkers kind of out right now for Fido. He's going to be able to easily combat anything that Sonic is going to do for a little bit now, since he has that Mothership Core, since he has the Photon Overcharge, and actually managed to pick off the Reaper. A nice little play, but Double Forge coming up from Fido, so it looks like he's trying to transition this out into a super late game play.
It's actually interesting to see him go for a Double Forge so soon after such heavy pressure was put onto him. Especially considering the fact that his ground army is going to be super delayed.
Yeah, and in comparison, you look at Sonic, I mean, he's got barracks out with a reactor and another with a tech lab. Has a factory out and is researching +1 weapons. But honestly, he's kind of delayed his starport for a trade-off to get earlier, like early game / mid game units out. And he actually might be able to hit a timing and be aggressive with +1 weapons and stim finishing up.
Yeah, I wouldn't be too surprised to see Sonic start pushing out across the map as soon as the first 2 medevacs come out. Because that timing should line up basically perfectly with stim and +1 weapons finishing up, and that's going to be an extremely dangerous army. It's going to be huge, especially considering the fact that we are going to see Fido being in the middle of his upgrade cycle when that happens.
Oh yeah, that could definitely be huge. But actually, I look at it again, and we see that there's actually still not that much time left over for +1 weapons and stim to actually finish up. So if he's going to hit his timing, it's got to be soon. Although, I guess he could just push out with these 2 medevacs and, hey, maybe go for a drop. He's going to be up against a Photon Overcharge, which he talked about again, being makes it a little bit difficult to be aggressive, but it could still happen.
Yeah, I could definitely see him at least wasting off those Photon Overcharges, because this Mothership Core should be able to get one down on both Nexuses, but again, this army from Fido is not impressive. He's had 1 Warp Gate for the last 7 minutes that he's been producing off of. His army is literally 4 Stalkers, a Sentry, and a Zealot, along with that Mothership Core. He might be able to get 1 more Warp In of units in, but that is not going to be a good chunk of units. And it looks like the Scouting Phoenix will not actually be able to see the push out, so we could see some serious damage going on for Sonic here.
Yeah, I don't think that he saw anything super out of the ordinary. The Phoenix actually even got picked off before the engineering bay was even seen. So this push out could do a lot of damage, and I mean, Fido, he's positioning his units in his main base, preparing for drops, but the reality is it's going to be a push out the front, but at least his +1/+1 does finish up, and he is getting up all of his gateways perfectly timed for this push out.
Yeah, I mean, the issue is that he has no bank right now. There's going to be no way for him to actually bring in units for the first 20-30 seconds of this fight, and we are going to see Sonic pushing up here. There will not be force fields to block him off on the ramp. Actually, maybe there will. You never know. Sometimes he just doesn't attack, but we do have this engagement going down. It looks like the Zealots will be stepping forward, and a couple of nice force fields, along with what looked like a really great feedback. I did not expect to see a feedback this early in the game. Actually manages to push Sonic back beautifully. Wow.
Yeah, and the Scouting Factory, unable to do the economic damage it wanted to by landing on those probes. But, I mean, I don't know. What do you think about that push-in from Sonic? I feel like, I mean, he did a little bit of damage, but not as much as I think he probably wanted to there.
I feel like Fido literally had the perfect units that he could have had at that moment. I mean,
yeah,
just the 2 Zealots to soak a little bit of damage, and then that High Templar to get such an important feedback off of one of the medevacs and basically just cut the medevac numbers in half, which is a huge thing to do this early in the game. And he'll be able to do it yet again. I mean, it was really just beautifully done by him, and that really just won him the engagement.
Oh, definitely. Another medevac drop is actually going to be coming into the main base right now. It's going to be unloading, but the entire army is not too far for Fido. He should be able to deal with this, although, actually, he splits off most of his units and actually gives that medevac time to pick up his units and evacuate out of there. A little bit of a misplay, actually, from Fido.
Yeah.
I guess, actually, he could have been concerned saying, there's a drop in my main base, there's probably going to be a push up at the natural, although Sonic actually not really trying to commit to that.
Yeah, no, not at all. I mean, right now, the thing that's really hurting Fido is the fact that he does not yet have a robotics facility, so he's not going to have any sort of observer information on the army of Sonic. So
Yeah.
Sonic basically has free reign. I mean, if we look at the minimap view for Fido, he was basically confined to his base for the last 12 minutes of this game. He had absolutely no idea what was going on, but right now he's going to be pushing out across the map.
Yeah, and Sonic sees Zealots rallying across the map. That's going to be a really huge tell. And actually, Fido retreats all the way back home just to deal with this small little squadron of units. Photon Overcharge does go down and pushes those units back, but Medevac Boost goes off. And hey, man, if you only have Zealots and a handful of High Templars, if you don't get those feedbacks off, those Medevacs are going to get out of there.
Yeah, and Sonic will be lucky enough to get rid of those units. I'm surprised he's still even keeping them on this side of the map, as I would have expected them to honestly just run all the way home. Because this is a huge army from Fido preparing to go for an attack, and he's going to need a lot of units on his side of the field to deal with this many Zealots with charge, especially considering the fact that I do not believe he has Hellbats.
No, not only that, but he's actually down in upgrades right now. It's 2-2 for the Protoss army, and he's going to be hitting a really nice timing as his third tries to get up from Sonic, and Sonic is sitting on 1-1. And this is actually the most important matchup for upgrades by far over all of the other ones. So upgrades going to be playing a huge role in this engagement.
Yeah, we're going to see ghosts popping out right now, but they do not have the bonus to energy, so they will not have EMPs when this fight goes on.
Oh my god.
It looks like some nice bunker placements should be able to stave off.
There are so many bunkers, man.
Yeah, there's a lot of bunkers, and he does have a very solid wall, so honestly, I mean, the Zealot Force won't be able to bust up here, but we're kind of seeing the situation get flipped, where now Sonic really cannot get out of his base. There's not going to be a whole lot of chances for him to actually push out in the near future.
Yeah, it's going to be very, very difficult. I would like to maybe, when he does do that eventual push out, to maybe drop one of those, two of those ghosts over on the low ground to go for the High Templar snipe or EMP, and basically secure himself an availability of the position to actually move down and secure that third. Because, I mean, Fido is securing that third expansion, but honestly, we have the third command center up for Sonic. He's not going to feel too terrible about the fact that his opponent is getting his third up also.
Yeah, we are going to see a drop moving out from Sonic right now. And I would like to bring up the fact that you talked about those High Templar, because those High Templar are going to be extremely dangerous in any sort of fight that's coming up. It's 5 High Templar, all with full energy. That is 10 Storms ready to go at a moment's notice. I mean, that's just going to be crazy, like legitimately crazy.
I mean, not only the Storms, Boisterous, you look at the Medevacs, there's not that many out on the map. There's like, what, 6 of them? And most of them, or at least a decent portion of them, have 100% full medevac energy, and that means insta-kill from a feedback. And that could be deadly for Sonic. Sonic gonna have to do some amazing control or some kind of amazing harassment, but one thing that is definitely going in Sonic's favor is this ghost count. I mean, you talked about 5 High Templar being scary. 9 ghosts out on the map with more incoming. This is gonna be EMP heaven, man.
Yeah, he basically switched completely over from Marauders to Ghost production. I mean, he's making 3 at a time right now. And we do have that personal cloaking on the way. He does not have the Mobius reactor yet still, though. So these ghosts that are popping out will not have EMP for 25 seconds, which is going to be a little bit of a hindrance because all these ghosts are going to have a much lower energy count than you would expect.
Yeah, hey, Boisters, do these ghosts have a nuke?
Do they have a nuke?
I can't tell. I don't actually...
No.
I just realized that the game part. Okay, they do not
have a
okay.
nuke. No.
Okay, I was not sure. I was looking at the icon and on the Ghost Academy, and it looked like it was full. But we have the scan going down, and ooh, nice storm actually over there. As you know, Sonic can take a little bit of damage. But honestly, as long as Sonic doesn't eat another storm or 2 over here, that's actually going to work a little bit in his advantage. His medevacs need to lose some of that energy.
Yeah, they most certainly do, and it looks like a small portion of the army is just getting misrallied. He's going to lose a couple of Marauders, which is annoying, but not quite as painful as it could be.
Oh, War Prism in the main.
Oh god, that's actually, you know, those 3 Zealots are going to be extremely annoying. They didn't actually do that much economic damage. I don't think they really got any SCV kills, but it's really just annoying to have that happening right before posturing for a fight's going to occur. It looks like one High Templar is caught out of the way, but oh my god, a beautiful storm actually, like perfect storm. Manages to keep it alive for a little bit longer before it gets sniped by a ghost. And we are going to see this engagement coming up right now. Will these EMPs be good enough? We are going to see this engagement happening. Couple of beautiful storms going down. They are going to be starting to hit those Zealots a little bit too hard. We do not see any EMPs. Actually, there are plenty of EMPs going around right now. And it looks like all of the High Templars just got completely wrecked. These Zealots are going to be moving up on their opponents, but it's not going to be enough as we do have all of them getting melted because they just ran completely out of shields. And wow, this is a crazy fight for Sonic as he does manage to kill off his opponent's entire army, and he should just be able to keep his thumb right on the pressure now. And I don't see a way for Fido to really help start fighting this off because all of those High Templars got completely nuked out of their energy, and that was such an important part of his army.
Yeah, I was actually amazed because these Colossus sitting on +3 weapons upgrade, definitely an upgrade advantage for the Protoss player. And no Vikings out right now, but somehow Sonic is just making do with it. I don't even know what he's doing. I mean, he's been able to snipe off an EMP, those High Templar, get rid of the shields on these Zealots as well with the EMP. And oh my god, Templars are going to be the unit of choice warped in, but some Zealots going to be pushing a little bit too far forward.
Yeah, we are going to see another engagement happening right now, but all of those Zealots will again be melted at the front ends. These Colossus doing a crazy amount of damage, but the flanking from Sonic might just be too much as, oh my god, a beautiful concave coming down on both sides of that building cluster, and we should be able to see all of these Colossi go down. They will just barely fall as all of these Dio units get through with red health, and we are going to see this engagement continue on, and this Nexus should be falling, and this might just be the thing that secures Sonic's victory.
You know, Boisterous, I think that this engagement might very well be over. Fido's going to have to back up to his natural expansion. And, I mean, Sonic takes out the third expansion. He doesn't even have to do anything else. All he has to do is defend against his War Prison harassment. That's been pretty annoying over at his third base and his main base. But he doesn't even have to push in, especially considering he's been dealing with this Colossus by splitting up his units and getting through really good concaves. But he's going to do it anyways.
Oh, we have another beautiful feedback shutting down those High Templar yet again. And without those storms, there is really no way for Fido to pull this off. I mean, Colossi are good units, but they're just not quite that good. As they will get picked off here, and it looks like finally Fido will be forced to drop the GG, and Sonic will take the victory on Newkirk City.
Yeah, that was some really sick play, boys. I want to come back and highlight during those big engagements, such as the one that happened right around outside of the third expansion. I mean, we had multiple Colossus out against a literal zero count of Vikings. I want to, okay, we have one Viking out on the map. Where is it? I don't even know, man. Where is that Viking?
It's like right in the middle of the army right now.
Okay, it's all right. We have one Viking with 1 kill. I don't even know if that was a Colossus kill. If it was, that was amazing. But I mean, honestly, that only happens if you have a really, really solid control and you can split up your army to just decimate your opponent alongside, of course, the ghost control. And it's not easy to do. So Sonic really showing how good his control is in that late game play.
Yeah, I definitely think Fido made a little bit of a faux pas because he stuck to those High Templar a little bit too long. As soon as he saw that like 3 ghost production was starting, that's the moment where you cut all ties to High Templar, you build 3 robotics facilities, and you start cranking Colossi. Because if your High Templar get EMP'd, you're done. I mean, you can hit 6 storms before it happens, but if your High Templar gets EMP'd and then the Terran player can just start forcing engagements against you, you're not going to be able to do anything for over a minute. And that is really just way too much free time to give a Terran player to just start destroying you. And if you're in an engagement where you're against the full bio army and you have 2 Colossi, it's just not going to cut it.
Yeah, not only that, but I mean, we saw the Protoss player kind of go for a big High Templar warp in, morphing them straight into Archons, which kind of makes sense. Archons, a very, very fast unit to be able to get out because you don't have to wait from a robotics facility or like a Stargate or something. You just warp them in and then morph them, and then they're ready, right? They're ready for battle. But when you see your opponent has like 12 ghosts, it's a little bit of a risky choice to go for. And I think Sonic really did a great job capitalizing on his opponent's maybe poor decision making.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think Fido had a little bit of panic decision-making. I would have preferred to see Zealots popping out instead of High Templar into Archons, because Zealots, I mean, they get hurt a lot by EMPs, but it's not nearly as bad as Archons. I mean, if an Archon gets hit by 2 EMPs, suddenly it has 110 health.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
that's not a lot for an Archon.
Yeah, exactly. But with that being said, Sonic going to be taking this game. So guys, please go ahead and give Sonic a follow over on Twitter and on Twitch, and on the rare occasion he does decide to stream. And you can actually find all of that information over in the Twitch chat if you're watching this live on the live broadcast on twitch.tv/FearDragon64. Or you could find it over on youtube.com/FearDragon64 just below the video. But Boisters, where can people catch you at?
If people want to follow me, you can head on over to Twitter at BoisterousSC2 or over on YouTube, youtube.com/BoisterousSC2. You know, I do my best to just post videos all the time. I haven't posted one in like 2 weeks, but it's going to happen, Fear Dragon. It's going to happen someday.
I'm expecting it to happen, man. But guys, if you did enjoy this episode, you can also consider hitting the follow button, and also go ahead and subscribing to me over on YouTube. But more importantly, if you want more notifications about when we go live with the Breakout Invitational, should definitely go ahead and hit that follow button. And guys, we're going to be playing the trailer for the Breakout Invitational one more time right after this video. So please stick around and check that out. Hope you guys enjoy it, and I'll see you guys next time.